Hi, and welcome to Live with Connie. Crystal, can you hear and see me okay? If you're entering the chat, please leave a comment so that I know that you're here. And let me know where you're from and what project you're currently working on. And can everyone hear and see me okay? Okay, Crystal hears me okay. I always like to make sure when I start a live video. So, how are you doing tonight, Crystal? Oh, it's lagging? Ooh, hopefully that won't be a problem. I'm doing good. I've been working on my socks some today. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing today? Let me know where you're from and what project are you currently working on. Okay, you're going to refresh. And Michelle, am I lagging on your side? Hi, Marina. Am I saying your name properly? I'm sorry if I'm not. How are you doing tonight? And let me know where you're from and what project you're currently working on. And let's see. Deborah's here. Hi, Deborah. How are you doing tonight? Um, I can't remember offhand where you said you're from, but let me know what you're currently working on. And Deneen, how are you doing tonight? You're from Canada. And what project are you currently working on? And I'm gonna wait for a few more people to show up before I really get started with everything. Oh, I'm lagging a bit. And that I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how to fix it. Is it lagging that bad? Okay, Deborah, you're in Northeast Georgia and you're working on your tank top. Ooh, sounds nice. I can't wait to see it when you're finished with it. And Marshall is working on small sheep amigurumi, and she's from West Virginia. Ooh, that sounds like it's going to be a cute project. Do any of y'all have any idea on what I can do to fix the lag? And Marina says she's a Texan. Oh, we're neighbors. She was raised in Texas and transplanted in Tennessee. She has towel toppers, crystal at Bangladesh crochet new shawl pattern, and two turtles. And I saw that new shawl that Bangladesh has. That is gorgeous. That's one that I'm gonna have on my to-do list. Okay, Crystal, you said you refreshed and my words are off when I'm talking. Hmm. And like I don't know if I leave the studio and come right back. If that that will be if that would be okay. Let me try that real quick and see if that will work. Okay, do y'all see me right now? Is it better? Am I still lagging? Okay. Let's see. Okay, and Denise's making the shawl from Bago Day that Pamela showed yesterday. And that shawl is really gorgeous. Okay. Hi, Sarah. How are you doing tonight? You're from Manitoba, Canada, and you're working right now. What project are you currently working on? And Marina says it's okay if I mess up her name. Hardly anyone can say it correctly. It's an Elton John song. I'm gonna have to look up that song later and see if I can figure out how to pronounce it right. Let's see. Hey Dana, how are you doing tonight? And you're from Indiana, and what are you currently working on right now? Okay, y'all can see me. Oh, it's still lagging. I don't know how to fix it though, because I tried leaving and coming back, and but is it too bad or? So you're referring to the headband I'm wearing, Dana? This I didn't design myself. This was a pattern I found on Ravelry, and this I made over a year ago. This headband, and let's see. Dana is working on a new earring pattern in an Elsa bag. Well, I can't wait to see those when you're finished. And hi, Brenda. How are you doing tonight? I'm trying to remember where you're from, and let me know what you're currently working on. And Kay just entered. She's from Alabama, and she's working at work, but she has a poncho on her hook. Oh, and ponchos is something on my to-do list, and actually, it's one of my goals this year. Okay, it's only about a 2-second delay. Okay, let's see. Hi, Trisha. How are you doing tonight? And I'm trying to remember where you're from. I should know where you're from. And are you working on any projects? Let me know what you're working on. And the headband, this is a knitted headband that I made about a year ago. It's a pattern I found on Ravelry. Okay. Amarina is off to eat supper. Hubby is home. She'll watch the replay later. I hope you have a good night. Enjoy your supper. And Brenda says, rough and ready, California. Knitted fingerless mitts on the needles. And that's one thing I haven't done yet with knitting. I haven't knitted any mittens yet. Eventually I'll get to that. And Dana's addicted to ponchos. She's writing a new poncho pattern as well. Yes, and when you did your free Easter pattern, I had gotten one of your poncho patterns. Let's see. So Trisha just got off from work. She lives in Wilmington, North Carolina, and she's working on a blanket with baby yarn. Okay, so since it looks like there's about 9 of us in. So first I want to know, do y'all have any questions that y'all would like to ask me? And at any time, if you think of something you want to ask, feel free to ask me. And the first question I'm going to ask y'all tonight is, what does your perfect hamburger have in it? For me, my favorite type of hamburger has ketchup, pickles, onions, and preferably I like the onions sauteed. And also mushrooms, I like mushrooms, bacon and cheese. And I absolutely do not like mayonnaise. And like, I don't even like to know that mayonnaise was on my sandwich and then wiped off. I don't know. I just have a thing about mayonnaise. And like mustard, I don't care for mustard, but mustard don't bug me. I can drown like that. I can drown with ketchup, and but I don't know mayonnaise. Like kind of like when you go to weddings and stuff, how they always have a little ham sandwich and they put mayonnaise on it. And I'm like, no, don't put mayonnaise on it. Put like condiments on the side and let people dress their sandwich how they want. So let's see. Dana's asking what my favorite thing to make is. I love making shawls the most. Then hats would be my second favorite thing to make. I also like making headbands, but I haven't made any in a while. But then too, when I had gotten my hair cut last, it was too short to wear it up, and my hair's too thin to wear a headband with my hair down. So it's just now starting to get to the length where I can pull it back again. I also like making scrunchies. And Trisha loves cheeseburgers. She says, just give me lettuce and tomato on it. She loves mayonnaise. I am not big on ketchup. And most people love mayonnaise. And I'm just weird for some reason. I don't like it. And Brenda says she's that way with tomatoes. Now, tomatoes, I don't like tomatoes on a sandwich, but tomatoes are real easy to pick off. And Dana says ketchup, mustard, pickled, grilled onions, sauteed mushrooms, barbecue sauce. Ooh, barbecue sauce is good on a burger too, and bacon. We're pretty much the same except the mustard. And Dana says Joe can't do mayonnaise either. He will go nuts. And that's the one thing. It's like, do not put mayonnaise on my sandwich. And like when you go to restaurants, when you're sitting there telling them how you want your hamburger, and then they want to sit there and, well, what don't you want on it? And it's like, no, I prefer to tell you how I want it, because a lot of times people will forget what's on it. Where one time I was told something didn't have mayonnaise, and I got it, and it did. And let's see. Kay says she likes mustard, pickles, and onions. Trisha loves my hats that I make. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really into doing seasonal hats a lot, and I like a lot of cutesy things. And Deborah says, thick, freshly ground Midwestern beef, cooked medium, salt and pepper, mayonnaise, ketchup, dill pickles, leaf lettuce, fresh sliced tomatoes, sauteed onions. You sound like you like the works. And Trisha says everyone is different. Yeah, everyone is different. And just because you like different things, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what makes us all unique. And Crystal says she likes mustard, onions, pickles, jalapenos. Ooh, yeah, jalapenos are good. Ranch buffalo sauce, and a deep fried hamburger patty. It is a burger we have at a place. The burger is called Old Sporky. Mmm. And Deborah says she's made 13 scrunchies now. And speaking of scrunchies, like one thing that I want to learn how to do, where I know how to do the horizontal rows in different colors on a scrunchie in knitting, but I want to learn how to do where you have it going up and down. And Trisha says she does not like cheesecake, and a lot of people love cheesecake. Yeah, I love cheesecake, but I don't like cherries. And like, cherries are really popular, but I tend to like, that's one thing I don't like. But I love like strawberry, blueberry cheesecake. And usually if you do something with chocolate on a cheesecake, that's good too. Hi, Laura Lee. How are you doing tonight? Let me Okay, am I okay now? It looked like my screen was buffering. Okay, Lorelai, let me know where you're from and what project are you currently working on. Kay says, at restaurants, tell them you're allergic to mayo. And you know what's funny with that? Whenever I used to waitress, I would always hear people say that about onions. But the funny thing is, you know how difficult it is to actually get away with onions in your food? Because they're usually hidden in there somewhere. Usually people use at least, especially in like a restaurant, you're at least getting onion powder. And let's see. Brenda says, once the tomato juices get on the bread, she can't do it, but she likes salsa and tomato based sauces. And I'm the same way. Like I'll eat salsa and I like, tomato sauce in dishes, tomato paste. But I'm really not big on tomatoes. Like even as like salads, I don't care for them in salads. And Lorelai says ketchup off any kind of bread doesn't taste well to me. And oh, I used to love ketchup. Like I would always use like a ton of ketchup. And I don't use as much as what I used to, but I mean I used to always get like a bunch, like ask for a bunch of the little packs at like McDonald's and stuff. Hi, Josephine. How are you doing tonight? Let us know where you're from and what project you're currently working on. And you like lime cheesecake? Which I've never heard of a lime cheesecake. And Sarah loves scrunchies. They are so fun. And they are fun. Because for a while there, I was on a kick with making a bunch of them. And Crystal says Mama does not like cherry anything either. Yeah. And like when it comes to fruits, I like pretty much any fruit except cherry. And I really don't care for pineapple. But like I will cook with like pineapple juice, or if I use pineapples in a dish, I got to get the crushed pineapple. Where if I get like the bigger chunks, I don't like the chunks. Let's see. Okay, so everything's okay with y'all seeing me. Okay, good. And Deneen got her vaccine today. How did that go? And Lorelai's from Idaho, and she's working on Bagoday's new shawl. Everyone's been talking about her shawl, and I love that shawl. It's on my to-do list. I just don't know when I'm going to get around to it. And let's see. Gail's here. Hi, Gail. How are you doing tonight? Yes, everything's going good. Let me know what project you're working on. I don't know if you're still working on the same thing as earlier, as Saturday, but let us know. And Deborah says, "Oh, not. I'm eating fries. I'm using tons of ketchup." And let's see. Sarah says raspberry cheesecake board. Now you got my mouth watering for cheesecake. Oh yeah, I love me some cheesecake. Josephine's from Chicago, currently living in Arizona. Just started Bagoday's new shawl. And Deborah loves grilled pineapple. And Deneen says, I was drive through 30 minutes from start to finish. Okay, I'm not following. Let me know what you mean by that, Deneen. Crystal thinks that a lot of people are working on the new shawl wrap by Bago Day. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people. So, and I can't blame them. That is one gorgeous shawl, and she's such a good designer. And I really love her channel. And I always love whenever she has her husband on. Let's see. Okay. Trisha used to live in Tuscan and she wants to know what part of Arizona Josephine is from. And Kay loves fresh cherries, but not cherry flavor. And it really is funny how we have those quirks with food, where we like something one way, but not another way. And let's see, Gail's still working on her Afghan. And Josephine's from Curie. And Lorelai says she didn't really have a pretty white yarn, so she's using some paint box pastel stripes in the shawl. Well, I'm curious how that's going to look. And Trisha wants to know where Curie is. She used to live in Kearney, New Jersey. Does that count? Laughing out loud. And Deneen says the vaccine. Oh, now I understand. Okay. The vaccine took 30 minutes. It was drive-through. Okay. And Deborah says the bars crack her up when they're on together. Oh, and they so do. And Josephine says between Globe and Apache Junction, only 2,000 people. Crystal has started the wrap also. First in mint green, it was not working out, so she started over, and this one will be pink and black. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question. And what movie never gets old no matter how many times you've seen it? I would have to say Grease. I love Grease, and as some of you know, I love me some John Travolta. And one of these days, maybe I'll finally get to dance with him. But I love the music from Grease. I just think it's fun. The music's fun. Pretty Woman is another movie that I love seeing. Then The Notebook. That's just like a classic romance story. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. Trisha says Tootsie. That was a good movie. And then Deborah says Zombieland. That I've never watched that one. I don't even think I've heard of it. Sarah says Beetlejuice / Tremors. Now Tremors I'm not familiar with, but Beetlejuice, that was a good one. Lorelai says The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, that's one that never gets old. And one time I saw like a little play of it, which that was really neat. And Deborah says Grease is very nostalgic. Sorry, I know I said that wrong. For some reason, I have trouble pronouncing that word for her. Yeah, love me some Grease. And Crystal likes the Pirates of the Caribbean series. That's a very popular series. And E.T. Oh yeah, I remember back in the day E.T. And I remember when I went to Universal Studios, they had the E.T. ride, and that was really cool. And Deborah's seen The Breakfast Club at least 100 times. That's a good one. And Crystal says Book of Ellie too. I never heard of that. And Deborah says the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I used to go every Saturday night. Yeah, a lot of people love that one. And Sarah says Tremors has Kevin Bacon in it. And Trisha likes Bull Durham. And Sarah says at least the first one. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next question. But if y'all want to answer the questions I've already answered at any time in the chat, feel free to do so. Oh, it's Eli. Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. It sounds kind of familiar, but I'm not sure. And what's your favorite line from a book or movie? And I would have to say my favorite line from a movie would be from The Notebook, where she says, "If I'm a bird, then you're a bird." That line, I just think it's so cute and funny. And Trisha's asking, "Did you go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show dressed up?" No, I never saw it. Like getting dressed up. I've just seen it on TV. And Crystal says, "Yep, Denzel Washington." Yeah, he's in a lot of popular movies. Oh, and another thing I'm curious about, have any of y'all tried doing the waistcoat stitch yet? Since I started talking about it and I did the tutorial. And if you have, let me know how it's going. And Deborah says, "Time is an illusion. Lunchtime, doubtly so, from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy." And you see, I think I remember, wasn't there a computer game at one time for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Okay, let's see. And Deborah says the book, not the movie. Yeah, I think I remember the books because I think my brother had the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy book, but I want to say there was a computer game too, but I'm not sure. So Deborah says she used to dress up every week for the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And Trisha says she never heard of that stitch before. I have to watch your tutorial. I have a lot to catch up to do once tax season is over. Yeah, and the waistcoat stitch, it's basically the crochet version of the knit stitch that you would do in knitting. And it's really almost identical to the single crochet stitch, except where you insert your hook at, because you insert it through the V instead of under the stitch. But the rest of the stitches work just like the single crochet stitch. Okay. I'm going to move on to the next question. What was the worst job that you've ever had? Mine would be, I used to work at this furniture store. And it was like I never could do anything right. And it was the only job I've ever worked where I always had the fear of getting fired. And like there was this one time, one of the salespeople, she had the pricing listed wrong on the invoice because the salespeople would do a paper invoice and then we would have to type everything into the computer system. And like with furniture, you don't have the prices in the computer. We would go by what the salesperson would tell us. And like her total didn't add up to the number she had for the furniture individually. So I needed to verify what the correct prices were. So I'm paging her on the intercom and she's not coming. Well, the customer starts getting antsy. And she even made the remark, "Don't tell me she made a mistake with the prices again." And I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't know what to say because she did. And I'm just like, I just need to check. I just need to check something with her. And I'm paging, don't come. And then finally I see the sales manager, which this guy wasn't really the best sales manager. And you could tell like he didn't really know, he wasn't quick to resolve the situation. And finally, the salesperson finally comes around. So we get it resolved. Well, I made the mistake of talking about what happened with another coworker. Well, the boss's wife, which she was still basically one of the boss, a boss there, but she walks in and she overhears part of my conversation and starts asking questions. So I tell her what happened, and she reamed me big time. And the thing was that she was telling me how if her husband knew, he would fire me right there on the spot and all this stuff. And then later on, because I wasn't the only one at fault on this, because the salesperson put the wrong price, and really the sales manager didn't even handle it properly. So I asked the salesperson, it's like, did anyone talk to you about what happened? And she was like, no. And she even didn't understand why I got fussed at and she didn't. And then there was another time that they had told the other secretary that a customer would be picking up some furniture after hours. And they had made special arrangements. Well, why they didn't tell me to, I don't know. And this employee had a tendency to constantly go on break. And sure enough, the customer comes in while she's on break. And previously, the boss's son had fussed at me for checking to see if a customer could pick up furniture after hours, even though there were a lot of times they would let customers do this. So he really got on me, the warehouse closes at this time. So, of course, I tell the customer the warehouse is already closed, yada, yada, yada. And the next thing I know, well, luckily the customer went to the back and they got it resolved. But I'm getting fussed at and told that if they lose the sale, that I would lose my job. But then later when I got off of work, my boss this was kind of the most of an apology I would ever get from him. He made the remark, no matter what you do, you can't seem to win. And it's like, yeah. Okay, let me go check the comments. Let's see, where did I leave off? But yeah, let me know what your worst job was. Let's see. Okay. Crystal said, why is the rum always gone? Jack Sparrow, only quote I could think of. And then Trisha said, the job that she retired from, she had the boss from hell. And really, bad bosses really make a job horrible. Sarah says, because you drank it, Crystal. Lorelai says she worked in a cheese factory once. And Deborah says, she's got to go. Hubby just came home from taking his dad to a doctor in Atlanta. I hope everything's okay with his dad. And I hope you have a good night, Deborah. Crystal don't like rum. And Trisha says, rum, did someone mention rum? I could use some now. And let's see. Crystal likes mimosas and only drink those at the casino. Yeah, I haven't had anything alcoholic in, over 6 years. But I do like margaritas, especially strawberry and daiquiris. Let's see. Trisha says mimosas are yummy. Crystal says she thinks the Nightbot was late to the party. I think it takes 5 minutes for it to typically kick in. And I said that for every 15 minutes, so maybe that's why. But we're at 35 minutes, so I don't know. I don't know why Nightbot was so late. Crystal says her worst job was at a mushroom factory. And Trisha says, and then the boss from hell wanted me to come back as a consultant. I did not laugh in her face. Kay says the job she has now. Lorelai says she hasn't drank in over 36 years. And let's move on to the next question. Okay, hold up. What would you do if you were invisible for 24 hours? Me, I would be a little prankster. I would be like leaving signs on the back of people and making noises, moving stuff around. Um, but yeah, that's the type of stuff I would do if I was invisible. I'd be bad. I'd get into all sorts of stuff. And are y'all still finding that I'm lagging? Because I notice it's some on my screen, which kind of makes it awkward when talking. Trisha says she would be a prankster too. Yeah, I mean that would be fun though, being invisible and or like if you would be a ghost. I'd be banging pots and pans and turning lights on and off, and Crystal would eavesdrop on her neighbors. Oh yeah, and that's one thing too, being invisible. Imagine the stuff you would overhear. Crystal says I'm still lagging some. You know, one thing it might be is we were expected to get bad weather today, and it really hasn't rained that much, but but um but maybe the weather is affecting my internet. Lorelai says she's crocheting and she hasn't noticed. But I do wonder if maybe the weather might be affecting my internet. Okay. And what's the longest flight that y'all have ever taken? Mine was, I think it was either 32 or 34 hours when I was going to Diego Garcia when I was in the Navy. And the thing was that, and then on the flight there, one of the engines backfired. And, and like, I didn't notice anything but a tiny bit of turbulence at the time, but they got on the intercom telling us what was going on and that they were still going to, continue to the next layover spot, and then they would have it checked out there. But some of the people on the plane saw flames shoot out, which I'm so glad I did not see that. And even once we got back on the plane, I couldn't fall asleep because I was kind of scared. So whenever I got to Diego Garcia, I was so tired. And then it's like the time zone is like 12-hour difference. So it took a while for me to catch up on my sleep. So you've never been on one? Yeah. The only time I ever flew was when I was in the Navy. So it's been a long time since I've been on a plane. And like I've never been on a cruise. No, I have been on a rig because Frank used to be a truck driver. And the first time I got on the rig, I got like seasick, and we were about to go. You know, we were gonna stop to get some of the stuff for motion sickness, and and then it finally went away. Let's see. Lorelai says she's only flown once. It was about an hour and a half. Wouldn't have gone except it was to help a sick friend. And Kay hasn't flown before. And Crystal says she would have to get on one to go to France or England, that she wishes to go one day. Let's see. And also, I'd like to know, do you have any pets and what type? I know some of y'all have talked about y'all pets to me before in comments, but as y'all know, I have Allie and Sophie, and Allie's my little scaredy cat. But Allie, I got her. She was about 3 weeks old and had to bottle feed her, and I call her my fragile baby. And then Sophie, she's my social butterfly. And Trisha says she has flown a lot. She's been to Europe several times. Ooh, so how was Europe? And Sarah has to get back to work. Bye, Sarah. I hope you have a good night. And Trisha, no pets now. She used to have cats. So tell me about your cats, Trisha, that you used to have. Crystal has two cats, Tom and Oreo. Yeah, I love always hearing about your cats. And Lorelai, she has a Maltipoo named, hold up, okay, Maltipoo named Roo, as in kangaroo. He's a jumper. So he likes to get into things. And Brenda, she has a cat that has 6 toes on each foot and a stubby tail. One parakeet who talks a little. And I always like the cats with the bobtails. I think those are so cute. And now if I had a parakeet, oh, I'd be teaching that parakeet all sorts of stuff. You wouldn't know what would come out of my parakeet's mouth. Kay says she has 2 cats and 3 dogs. And Trisha says the last 3 were strays. They actually found me. Yeah, and right now we got the 3 strays that like to hang out in our yard a lot. Then I think one of them has 3 kittens, but they're not like really young kittens. They're older kittens. But it's like, but you can't even get close to them. I've tried to go up to them, but they always run off. But yeah, the stray cats are just taking over. And then like sometimes my neighbor's cat comes around, Leroy, and there's a solid black short haired cat that I see sometimes. But there's a lot of cats that's been hanging around lately. So Brenda says the parakeet says chirp chirp, I'm a bird. But I think it's so cool though how parakeets can talk. And Trisha says her middle cat Rascal would not let her out of her sight. She would even go in the shower with me. Crazy, huh? Cats can do some crazy things. And it's so funny the things that they will do and get into. And let's see. Do y'all have a favorite childhood pet? Where I had this cat, Gumaw. He was a big fluffy whitish colored cat. Um I don't have a lot of memories of that cat, but it's one of the pets that I do remember. Then I had this cat Pee Wee. And I love Pee Wee. He was a black and white cat, And I used to put him like on the corner of the sofa, sitting like a person does. And this cat would actually stay and purr. And but the sad thing is, when one night my mom had fixed me some meatballs and spaghetti, and Pee Wee kept trying to get into my food. So my mom let Pee Wee outside, and he got hit by a car. And then we had a gray cat named Samboy. He was a short haired cat. And he was one that I really liked. And then, well, this cat was really my sister's favorite cat. Um, but Ming, the cat was named Ming. It was Ming. It was a purebred Siamese cat, and well, she was old, and like she was more ornery. But this cat knew how to use the toilet. The cat would potty in the toilet sometimes. And then, like my oldest brother was bad for being mean to the cat, and there was twice that my brother was sleeping, and Ming decided to poop on his head. So that's the cats that a lot of the cats that I had growing up. Let's see. Trisha says that her cat Tom is like that. He follows her around like a dog. She's referring to Trisha's cat. Trisha says her baby Boo Boo loved people. I used to take her to the senior home with me. And Sophie's like that. She's a social butterfly. And Trisha says her favorite pet growing up was her cat Nora. She was the best. And Crystal said my favorite cat was named Sylvester, and he ended up living to 12 or 13 years old. And yet Ming lived to about 12 or 13 too. And Lorelai says she had a seal point Siamese cat named Mayo, I think. He would let her hold him upside down with his head in her hands, and she could swing him. And Brenda says her current kitty is the best cat she's had, and all of them were friendly, good kitties. He loves everyone, and he is 17 years young. Wow! And cats don't tend to live that long. And let's see. My next question for y'all is what's the last good book that you have read? And it's been a few years since I've read any books, but one of the last books that I remember reading was by Jennifer Janes. I think it's spelled Jaynes, and it was a good she had like a good mystery series kind of going on where her first three books continued. And I noticed like earlier today I was looking her up, and she's written three books now that I haven't read, so I'm gonna have to check those out. But her books, like her first books actually took place in Louisiana. Which speaking of Louisiana, I don't know if y'all heard about that girl from LSU that went missing recently. Her name was Corey something. Well, they in like if you didn't hear about it, she went missing, and her car was abandoned on a bridge, and her purse and cell phone were left in the car. And someone going along the bridge, well, they couldn't switch lanes because there was a rig. So they hit the car, and at the time they hit the car, no one was in the car. So they had been looking for her. And they had found a body in the river. And today they announced that it was her body. And But they did say no foul play, like from the evidence they've collected, that there's no foul play involved. So I don't know what really happened, but it's just sad. And let me get back to the comments. Crystal says, wow, 17, that's amazing. And yes, that is amazing. A 17-year-old cat. And Crystal says The Shining by Stephen King. He has a lot of good books. I know as a child I watched a lot of his movies like Cujo, Firestarter, Carrie, and Lorelai says the Bible, which yes, that's an awesome book. Hi Tiffany, how are you doing tonight? Tiffany is from Michigan, and Tiffany is one of my friends. And Trisha says, Hillbilly Elegy. They made a movie out of it, but the book, of course, is better. I've never heard of that book. What's it about? And actually, Tiffany is the one that introduced me to the Jennifer James books. She's recommended a lot of good books to me. Let's see. Brenda says sad, but at least they found her. Yes, because sometimes these people don't, someone goes missing and they're left like never knowing what happened, or years and years. Like I watch a lot of true crime stuff, so I mean, and you just see all these really sad things that happen. Crystal said that she never heard about it. There's been a lot of posts on Facebook about Corey, but I'm sure it's mostly been in the Louisiana area that people have been sharing it though. And Tiffany says favorite author Robert Shaz Shoot does a lot of horror. Now horror, I like a little horror, but I don't like too much. And Liz just came into the live. Hi Liz, how are you doing tonight? And where are you from? And was actually in the Navy too. And are you crocheting or knitting anything right now? And Brenda said he's an old kitty but hanging in there. He moves slower but still gets around well and can see and hear still too. That's good. And let's see. Crystal, the movie The Shining with Jack Nicholson is so different than the book. Yeah, and I hear that a lot. Like I remember when they redid oh, I can't think of the name of it. There was a series, I think it played on CBS, and it was supposed to be based on one of Stephen King's books. And this was I say within like the last 5 or 6 years. Oh, it's Under the Dome. Frank just told me. But like the series was so much, ended up being so much different than the book. And Lorelai said that she didn't hear about Corey in Idaho. And let's see. Trisha says the book is about a young man who was born in the hills of Kentucky and then to Ohio, never had much money, but wound up going to Yale. The movie is on Netflix and is nominated for an Oscar. Oh, sounds interesting. But like currently I don't have Netflix right now though. I go back and forth with like Netflix and Hulu because I'll watch what I want to watch and then I'll unsubscribe from it and then give it some time to build up some new stuff and then go back to it. And Liz is trying to finish some whips and she lives in California. And Crystal says the mini-series The Shining is almost exactly like the book. Yes, and like some movies are really similar. And Liz says that she watched The Stand, so different from the book. Tiffany says she loves the family feeling that comes with my lives. You have a great community. Oh, thank you, Tiffany. And really, all of y'all make the community awesome. And I'm really glad that y'all all support me and y'all enjoy my videos and all that. So I think we're going to ask one more question before wrapping up tonight. Let's see. What is the weirdest dream that you ever had? Well, this was a dream I used to have as a child, and I think it was kind of a reoccurring dream. And there was a while that I kind of thought that it really was happening, but I used to have this dream that a guy that looked like the Glad trash bag commercial guy would come up to me and tell me that the next time I see you, that I'm going to kidnap you. And I would just keep having that dream. And I just think it's funny that it was the guy from the commercial. So let's see. Trisha says she thinks The Stand is one of the scariest books that she's ever read. She's always had a hard time going through the Lincoln Tunnel after reading it. Yeah, some books and movies are really scary. Brenda says she's glad to have found me too. Oh, thank you. And Trisha says that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I dreamed that. Tiffany says her dreams could take all hour. I used to dream about being buried alive in a red core with another person. Ooh. Turned out it was in a Freddy Krueger movie I watched when I was really young. And Lorelai says she had a recurring dream as a child that she could lean over, then fly, but only 2 feet off the ground. And let's see. Crystal says she has seen the movie, but she hasn't read the book yet. Hey Dana, are you just joining us back, or you just been quiet in the background? And Trisha says in her dreams she always gets lost. What does that mean? Haha. And yeah, and they do say that dreams a lot of times have a hidden meaning, which that always kind of fascinates me. You know, what do dreams really mean? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Brenda says, okay, weirdest dream was of evil deer running up on top her deck and cutting us with their hooves when they ran over us. Ew. And like the scary dreams really are always the worst dreams to have. And Crystal used to have reoccurring dreams about living in underground tunnels. And Trisha says, buried alive, that is terrifying. Yes, it is. And you ever notice too when you're having a scary dream, how you always seem to wake up right before like something really bad is about to happen? Okay. Okay. So I'm caught up with the comments now. Oh, hold up, I got one more. In my dream, I am always looking for my animals, laughing out loud, particularly about the cat I have at that time. And sometimes you can kind of, see a connection with the dream. But I think I'm going to go ahead and close out because I'm almost right at that hour mark. By the time that I finish, it will hit an hour. So I hope everyone enjoyed the live tonight. And I want to thank everybody for watching and coming to my live, supporting my channel. And you are all awesome. And I love you guys. And I hope y'all are I hope that y'all are having a well, I hope that y'all had a fabulous day today, and I hope y'all have one tomorrow. And be the light, and bye.